Hey, what's going on, guys? And I'm back. Now, if a lot of you, if you guys remember and you followed my channel, you would know that this building right here used to house Revolt TV. That's right. You saw me at 1540 Broadway. Now we're at 1440 Broadway. And let me tell you a little story. See, right in the same space right here, I'm going to show you guys. Right in the same space right here, this is where Revolt TV was until they moved to California. Now, this is very exact place. Every morning when I was here, I used to always put up a picture to let everybody know I was here, and I would tag Revolt and I would let them know that I'm here, and they knew I was here. How do I know they knew I was here? Well, let me tell you some of the people that I ran into that knew my face while I was here. One of them would be Shaheem Reed. Another of them, more noteworthy, would be a gentleman by the name of Nick. We're just going to call him Nick. Now, Nick, this is nothing personal against you. We got to talk about it. Now, standing right where I'm standing right now, as you can see, right here, and right behind this building right here, right in this exact space, I not only tried to speak to Shaheem Reed, which at the time he wouldn't even speak to me, but I also spoke to Nick. Now, at the time I spoke to Nick, I told Nick, hey, I'm looking for a job. The only thing we know is the music business. He knew what I was talking about. I think the last time I was with him was actually when we were in Atlanta. That time in Atlanta, we were actually celebrating T.I. coming home from prison. It was a whole weekend of that. Actually, that was actually the second celebration we had. The one previous to that one was actually in Florida after that. So it was actually two welcome home parties that we had for T.I. Now, at that time, I asked Nick, I said, hey, listen, I need a job. And we're not talking about somebody that's secondary to Nick. Secondary to Diddy. This is like the second string of people, meaning you have to go through him to get through the Puff, all right? That's just what it is. So I told this gentleman, I said, listen, I'm looking for a new job. You guys know the only thing we know is the music business. That's just what it is. We have been involved for so long in the music business, going through so many conglomerates and so many different distributors. Which brings me to this point right here after I say this. So after me asking Nick not one time, but seeing him subsequently 3-4 times after that, and him saying to me, hey, don't worry about it, Playboy, we're gonna talk about it, I ain't forgot you, da-da-da-da-da. Let me tell you what happened. Now, you see that desk right behind me? See that big desk right there? In front of that big desk right there, there used to be a gentleman that worked at that desk every morning, and everybody in this building saw me every morning when I was here faithfully. So anybody that works in this building, which still does probably work in this building, would know that they saw me every morning. But let me tell you about, finish with Nick. So after I didn't speak to Nick probably 2 or 3 times after that, what came to mind was something's funny's going on. So as you see at that same desk behind me, there was a gentleman that worked security here. That gentleman was a young Indian gentleman, and he came out and he told me these words. Hey man, I don't know what to tell you. I know you were looking for Puff, and he'll also vouch for me saying that I left numerous notes for Puff to tell him that I would be right here. Because see, at that time, which was not only but a year ago, okay, we're talking 2019, not 2020, 2019. Puff was living in California, and all the entities that he had here in New York City was subsequently closed. Now, if you ask me, that went into comparison when we were fired back in 2000, I'd say 14 going into 15. All right, when our services were no longer needed as far as promotion was concerned anymore, because of pure simple fact, everything it took online to social media, being Twitter, being Facebook, being all the other rendezvous and points that you could think of. This Indian gentleman came out and told me, he said, listen, they're moving out of the building. They've been moving out for the past 2 or 3 days. Now, I didn't see that because, of course, they were doing it at nighttime, sometimes late evening. I was here early morning. Now, what I mean by early morning, I was here 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. So this gentleman, Nick, who's part of a popular liquor brand, says that he didn't talk to me, he's telling a lie. Which I'm pretty sure he's not a liar, so he's not going to lie and say that he did. But I would implore you to reach out to him yourself and get his version of the story. Also, I want to throw in this. When said gentleman ran into me, what did I have on? My work outfit. And what did I have that work outfit on? Because I was selling bus tickets at the time. I got dunged down to selling bus tickets right around the corner back behind me, as you can see right here. If you go to that corner and make a left right there. So once again, this is 1440 Broadway. Now I want to tell you what happened. Here at the former Revolt offices, what happened was there was a transition being made, and that transition was this. Time Warner, who was the parent distributor and who launched Revolt TV in the Time Warner building, which isn't far from here up on 59th Street. When they launched Revolt, we're back probably, and this is no diss to Revolt. Shout out to Dia Sims. I met her in person. Thank you for coming out to our podcast. If you don't know who Dia Sims is actually the person that helped create Revolt TV, not Puff. It was our idea. Dia Sims should have all credit for creating Revolt TV. But I concur. As this transitioning was happening, what happened was AT&T took acquisition of the distribution rights for Revolt TV. And if anybody knows the business, AT&T is centered in California. Isn't that coincidental? Puff's in California, Revolt now is in California. That's why you don't see any New York anchors anymore. That's why you don't see anybody from New York. That's why you don't see barely any New York coverage, including right now when we're having a freaking worldwide pandemic. There's been no coverage, if yet any, of New York City, which is a shame because Puff, well, you're from Mount Vernon. You claim Harlem. I don't know how that really works out. I guess after you make your millions, you are worth $845 million. So I guess after Puff made his $845 million, he said, screw New York. Now, once again, I'm going to tell you guys, every morning, and I'm going to put up some pictures for you guys so you can see them for yourself. Every morning, rain, sleet, or snow. I'm standing out, as you can see right now, it's raining. Rain, sleet, or snow, I stood in front of this building right here, 1440 Broadway. I'm going to move right here so you can see the address for yourself so you know I'm not bullshitting you. You see that? 1440. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that's 1440 Broadway. Now, once AT&T took acquisition of Revolt TV, they moved the whole entire caboodle onward to California. There's what it is. That gentleman is not going to tell me I didn't ask for a job. That gentleman is not going to tell you anything subsequent to it other than that. And you would think, give me 1 second, guys, a loud truck going by. You would think, being that I worked for the company for so many years, that you would think it would be easy for me to get a job at Revolt, but that was not the case at all. So maybe it was a lie, maybe it was some bullshit, who knows? But either or, even if it was a lie and Revolt is actually still in here or whatever the case may be, it still remains the fact of this. At the end of the day, I asked this gentleman for a job. There's no way of denying that, there's no way of arguing that. And somewhere or another, I was lied to again. So I'll ask you guys this question. With all the effort coming on my page since I went viral, with all the effort coming on my page telling people not to donate to me, with all the effort subsequently put forth towards everything that I'm doing, more particularly the video going viral that I made, it would make you think and make you say to yourself, something this Sid is saying is on point. And all those trolls that are coming on my page, there's something a little bit odd about that. But like I said, I'll let you guys decide. Guys, if anything, don't be tainted by people that are coming on my page telling you not to check me out, telling you don't believe me, and more importantly, telling you not to donate. I was interested in Puff giving me 10 grand, which many of y'all know is nothing. I'm still going to stick at that goal because there's a lot of other things I need to get accomplished besides getting an apartment. And just for that, just to let you know this, the average apartment in Connecticut nowadays is about $1,100, between $900 and $1,100. That's for a one bedroom or a studio in many cases. So you put into mind, first month's rent, second month's in deposit, a couple places are wanting 2 months upfront of rent, so that puts me somewhere around about $3,000. I'm gonna need all new furniture. Everything that I had is gone. And I'm gonna get into the story about that. And to be fair, it is not Puff's fault for that. That is something that I assumed when coming back down here to New York, because I was living in Connecticut. I had an incident, and that incident, I had to get some elective surgeries done, and then two, another thing that happened with me was, the whole drama and trauma and all that stuff that I went through, and subsequently going to see people for that, and blah, 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 blah. But here I am, and none of that has to do with anything, because I was still out here working, I was still out here busting my ass, and I was still out here, and a lot of people will tell you a different story other than what it is. Now, a lot of people, they haven't watched, particularly my ex-co-workers, I think, haven't watched the extent of my videos, and I would hope that they would. But if they don't, that's fine too. I just want to tell you guys, I love you guys. I really do. And I hope you find your way out of this or find your way back from this or whatever. And if you don't, and we never speak again, that's fine too. We had some wonderful times together. I wish you no harm. I really don't. I really don't. But I have to do this for me. And everything I'm telling is the truth. I stood in front of this building every morning at 8 p.m. at 8 a.m. for at least, I don't know, I'd say probably a good 6 or 7 weeks. every day, on cue, every day. And I talked to Nick, and I seen Shyheim. Shyheim walked right past me. I seen the artists that were coming up, including a couple artists that y'all interviewed that day or whatever. Now, the whole entire Revolt TV is now in California. And there are no entities on the East Coast. The only entities of his businesses that remain are two, and that's DeLeon and Ciroc. They're both bottled, believe it or not, in Connecticut, where I live. So, guys, I would just say this to you. I'm not here to expose yet. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. I just kick straight facts. And straight facts is, I was here at this building, and I was told there was a possibility that I would be hired. There was a possibility that I would be able to talk to who I needed to talk to. And even after knowing the notion that this company was subsequently moving out of the building, I was left for dead again. Guys, please continue to donate. Please continue to listen to me and support me. And I like everything that you guys are saying. And thanks for the inspiration that all you guys are giving me. This is not a full tirade yet. This is not because there's so much stuff that I've seen and I know. I mean, what do you think I haven't seen after being around 18 or 19 years? And just because I didn't let you know, or I subtly, gave you a, what do you want to say, an innuendo that I knew, doesn't mean that I told you everything. And I've seen a lot. I've seen money get taken. I've seen budgets get shifted. I've seen a lot of things. And I'm not saying for my ass boss either, so let's not go there. And I'm going to tell you what my thoughts is on that James Cruz interview that just popped up just a few minutes ago on Revolt TV, and I'll get back to you. But like I told you, it's kind of odd that James Cruz, I mentioned James Cruz in my video saying that he was our first boss, and which he was, right up the block at the other building I took you to, the 1540 Broadway. And then it was Malcolm Miles, who now is, I believe, still at Cash Money, Young Money, CMB. And then finally, it was Sean Perez, who we have stayed with and been with ever since then. Now, you call it what you want to, I don't care. But up into COVID-19 hit, I was once again working with Sean Perez. And I'm gonna put up some videos to show you guys that I was still working with Sean Perez up into COVID hit right in Brooklyn at our filming location, which I'm not gonna tell you about, but make sure that you go check out his podcast, Power Moves Makers. And I want to throw this quid in. Isn't it ironic that Perez was also fired from Bad Boy at one time? You be the judge, guys. I'll talk to you later. And thanks for tuning in. And guys, thanks for all your support. And thank you for the donations, your well wishes, and everything else. We're going to get through this and push on. And we're going to get myself back to business. Actually, I want to tell you guys one thing. I just talked to one of my friends from Viacom today. That was ironic. I was talking about Viacom in my earlier video, and I ended up running into him. We got his number and contact. And I'm going to be working on something with him after this crap is over. The problem is nobody has any recording locations, nobody has any filming locations right now in the tri-state really, and most important of all, no studios are open whatsoever. But I actually bought a microphone thanks to you guys today, and I'm going to release some music to you guys because I feel that I owe it to you. So guys, be on the lookout for that. Hopefully you'll purchase the music. I'm not looking for anybody's support beyond purchasing the music, so make sure you do that. The link will be there, and make sure you pick it up. But like I said, once again, this is 1440 Broadway, formerly the home of Revolt TV, and where I stood every morning, and no one, including the other businesses in this building, will deny that because they saw me every morning. Not 2 years ago, not 3 years ago, not 4 years ago, not 5 years ago, but last year. And right there at that desk that you see right behind me, if you guys can see it, that big desk that you see behind me, there was an Indian gentleman that used to work security. I don't know if he's still there anymore, but he was a young gentleman with glasses. And he used to work security right at that booth right there, and he'll tell you for himself. He was the one that came out and told me, hey, you know they're moving out the building after I had asked for a job. Guys, thank you for your donations, and thank you for everything else. This is Davin Lewis signing off, and I'm out of here.